Greetings, students of the Force, and welcome back to the channel. The complicated and rather strained relationship between Darth Vader and his Emperor is very often seen each time they interact with one another. This idea is further explored in many of the comics, where we see just how Palpatine really treats Vader and their rather abusive relationship that results from it. But for today's video, we wanted to look at a specific part of their relationship and have a more casual discussion on this topic, just sort of opening a dialogue about the complex and complicated nature between these two massively powerful Sith Lords. Now, officers, grab a drink and relax as we discuss the state of affairs of our Empire's leadership. We invite you to comment below and to add to this video with your own thoughts. Now, let us begin. Undoubtedly, Palpatine is a master manipulator and always has been, which is how he was able to seduce Anakin and turn him to the dark side in the first place. However, there is a drastic change in the relationship between Chancellor Palpatine and Anakin and the Emperor and Lord Vader. It is evident that they seem to carry a certain amount of tension with one another when they interact, and it all starts with the very moment after Vader wakes from being put in his suit and his failures on Mustafar. In the 2017 Vader comic run, Vader immediately reaches out and thrusts Sidious to the wall with the Force, condemning him by telling Sidious that he had promised him that nothing would happen to Padme and that she could in fact be saved. Sidious, though, talked down to him, explaining that she had given him the gift of pain and that he could then use this pain to augment his power and grow stronger, choosing life or to choose death. Squander the final gift of Padme. After Vader let Sidious down, Sidious punished him by unleashing a torrent of Force lightning and saying that if Vader ever touched him with the Force again, that he would finish what Kenobi could not. Sidious then let him up and said that he would hope that they were his friends that could put this all behind them and look forward to the future. However, from this moment on, they began their new relationship as Sith, with a new understanding between them. Gone were the days of Palpatine being the father figure Anakin so desperately desired. Now, he was his master and lord, and their friendship would be entirely different. One of mistrust, skepticism, and abuse. What's important about their relationship is Palpatine presented himself to Vader in a couple of different ways, depending on what he needed from him at any given moment. Sometimes he appeared to him in holograms as his Emperor and Commander-in-Chief, speaking to Vader as a general would to a subordinate. Other times, Sidious would come to Vader as if he were his teacher and his Sith master, offering him advice whenever it seemed Vader needed it, as well as being something of a disappointed parent by being sharp or curt with him. And even more often, Sidious would come to his apprentice, calling him friend, and speaking as if they were two of a kind against the galaxy. This fluctuation in how Sidious approached Vader was what Sidious had assumed would keep him in line, continuing to manipulate him even now. But what I find interesting is how Vader responds to all of this and his master's changing behavior. Unlike his master, who wears many faces when speaking to his apprentice, Vader responds to each situation exactly the same. Cold, quiet, rarely asking questions, and always responding with a simple, "Yes, my master." It seems as though Vader is quite aware of what his master is actively doing here and refuses to indulge him in any games. I think this is another point of tension for these two Sith Lords, as Vader is the only person Palpatine can't influence the emotions of any further. Vader, in a sense, has learned his lesson, but that doesn't mean that Darth Sidious doesn't enjoy doing so, or won't attempt it anyway. As we go a little bit further, you will see that when he calls him friend, this is actually deeply insulting and is even more pouring salt in a wound of Darth Vader. A wound that Darth Vader will never heal. Sure, Darth Sidious can order Vader around and punish him as he pleases, but Sidious seems frustrated that Vader responds exactly the same way to every persona that Sidious uses on his apprentice, specifically though, their friendship, or at least as Sidious refers to it as friendship. We do get an idea of what Vader thinks whenever he calls him friend. Vader knows that it's not only just a simple act, but also a form of insult. Vader understood where the two stand in their relationship from day one. As soon as he got within his suit, he realized what he had done, and realized the father-son connection and relationship established between Anakin and Chancellor Palpatine never existed in the first place. He understood the lying and the ultimate price of the dark side. Sidious knows that Darth Vader sees through all the manipulations, but continues to do it anyway, just because he can. And he enjoys insulting Vader for all of his failures. He doesn't do it overtly unless he feels the need to, but more often, he is extremely passive-aggressive offering backhanded compliments and treating Vader more like a pet than anything else. And because of Vader's power level, he isn't able to really do anything about it. Sidious seems to only call him friend as a form of irony to symbolize that Vader has fallen so far, and just how far above him that the Emperor truly is. Make no mistake, Sidious is the absolute tormentor of Darth Vader, and the only reason that Darth Vader stays with Emperor Palpatine, his abuser, is the same reason that many in the real world stay with their abusers, because they believe that it is all they have. Darth Vader even personally explained that he only aligned with the Empire and the Sith after the death of Padme and the collapse of the Jedi Order, because that is all he had left. All he had left was Sidious's empire, an empire of ruin that Vader caused. And as his master, Sidious had achieved a state of power that Vader can now only dream of. And even though Vader uncovers plot after plot of Sidious trying to replace him, Vader thwarts it every single time. Vader may not be able to overthrow his master alone, but he can still be a thorn in his side and send Sidious a message saying that he isn't going anywhere. Which again, ironically, is exactly what Darth Sidious wants. But that is why whenever Sidious refers to Darth Vader as his friend, it is actually the greatest insult that he can levy at Vader. Vader knows of his failure. He knows that his master is aware of it, but it is when his master treats him as an equal, even though he is fully aware that he is not, is where the true insults begin, and the wound stings fresh. But again, students of the Force, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and also let us know if you enjoy this relationship analysis. We are always looking for new ways to present content, so feedback is always important to us. Now, my friend, may the Force be with you, and I hope that you have a great day.